What kind of city has more fresh water than almost anywhere on Earth, and still cannot give someone a place to wash their hands? Detroit sits on the Great Lakes. It built the engine of a nation, but tonight, more than 1,700 people here will go to sleep without access to a single shower. Welcome to Homeless in America. Detroit is a city that built the 20th century. Its assembly lines produced the cars that moved a nation. Its music gave America a heartbeat, and its workers, generation after generation, poured their lives into making something real. This is a city of invention and resilience. But Detroit is also a city where, in 2014, more than 20,000 households had their water shut off. In a single year, the largest residential water termination in United States history. And today, with roughly 1,700 people experiencing homelessness on any given January night, the question this city must answer is not complicated. Why does the city surrounded by the most fresh water on the planet still refuse to build a place for its most vulnerable residents to wash their hands? If these stories move you, subscribe now. We are going in. Part 1. Context and Crisis. Stand at the corner of Gratiot Avenue and East Grand Boulevard on a Tuesday morning, and what you see is a city in motion. Delivery trucks, construction workers, people heading to shift work at auto plants that survived the bankruptcy and came back leaner, tougher, more automated. Detroit did not die. Detroit restructured. Detroit survived. But survival looks different depending on who you are. The story of vehicular homelessness in Los Angeles does not begin in a van. It begins in Koreatown, in West Adams, in Westlake, the neighborhoods where working people have lived for generations, where rents that once absorbed on a single paycheck now demand 2 incomes, 3 roommates, or a kind of luck that most people cannot manufacture. LA County needs more than 485,000 affordable housing units to meet existing demand. That is not a projection. Among those counted, 455 were children. That is not a statistic you move past quickly. 455 children. A record high, up from 312 the year before. In a city where winters drop to single digits, where a school enrollment form requires a stable address, where a child who cannot shower on Monday morning becomes invisible to a classroom by Friday afternoon. The unsheltered count tells another story. In 2015, 151 individuals were counted sleeping outside on a January night. By 2024, that number had doubled to 305. While shelter beds stayed capped and housing costs climbed, the streets absorbed the overflow. And the streets in Detroit have no showers, no public toilets, no running water without a key, a card, or a contract. Detroit has roughly 7 public restrooms per 100,000 residents, and just 0.3 bathrooms per square mile. Verify FREEP 2022 via WAVE project data / national comparison. QS Supplies 2021. Against a national average already among the lowest in the developed world, Detroit lands near the bottom. For people without a home, a bathroom is not a convenience. It is the threshold between functioning in public and being pushed out of it entirely. This is not about hygiene as a preference. This is about hygiene as the entry point to everything else: a job interview, a shelter bed, a doctor visit, a moment of basic human dignity. And Detroit, in the shadow of 2 Great Lakes, has built almost nothing to provide it. What happens to a family when that threshold disappears? That is where we are going next. Part 2. The Spiral. To understand what happens in Detroit, we have to look differently at what we call a crisis. They are not people who stopped caring. They are not people who gave up. They are people caught inside a system designed to make recovery nearly impossible. And in Detroit, that system has a very specific shape. It starts not with drugs, not with mental illness, not with crime. It starts with a padlock on a bathroom door. Here is how the spiral works. You lose your housing. Maybe a plant closed, maybe a landlord sold the building, and the new owner tripled the rent. Maybe a single missed paycheck cascaded into 3 missed paychecks and a 30-day notice. You are out. The shelter waitlist is 6 weeks long and the system is at capacity, hundreds turned away every month with nowhere to go. So, you're on the street, or in a car, or in a tent along the I-75 corridor, and now the body becomes the problem. Without a shower, without a toilet, without the ability to wash your clothes or your face, your ability to function in public collapses. Stores ask you to leave. Employers who would have interviewed you decline to schedule the call. Libraries, among the last civic spaces open to everyone, begin enforcing odor policies. The world narrows every week. In Detroit, this was made structurally explicit in 2014, when the City Water and Sewage Department terminated water service to more than 20,000 households in a single year, the largest residential water shutoff in United States history. That crisis was years ago, but its shadow remains. It taught entire communities, particularly those who bore the burden of those shutoffs, that water is not a right. Water is something you pay for until you cannot. Access to sanitation and hygiene is recognized as a fundamental human right, but in practice, in Detroit, water is accessible only inside the home. And when you have no home, the city has built almost no infrastructure to fill that gap. Citizens have tried, and what they discover is disorienting. The health codes designed to protect public safety become the very tools used to block the solution. Not because the intention is wrong, but because the city never built permission for its own residents to solve a problem it refuses to solve. Part 3. Faces and the Day. No one is born with a dream of sleeping on the street. Marcus spent 22 years on the assembly line at an auto parts supplier on Detroit's east side. 2 kids, a rented house. Over time, in the winter months when orders ran heavy, he was not wealthy, but he was stable, the kind of stable that takes 20 years to build and 60 days to lose. The plant closed. The severance ran out in 3 months. The savings account followed. He landed on a wait list for emergency rental assistance that moved too slowly in a city where the gap between what the system offers and what a man in crisis needs is measured in weeks that cost everything. Today, Marcus lives in a tent encampment near the I-75 corridor. On Mondays and Wednesdays, when Pope Francis Center is open, he walks 1.2 miles for a hot shower before job interviews. On days the center is closed, he does not interview. He waits. A morning in a Detroit encampment is a logistical calculation most of us will never have to make. Do you spend the bus fare to reach a shower, or spend it getting to a job center? Do you eat first, or stand in line for a hygiene station that may be full when you arrive? Everything costs something, nothing is free. And the city that moves on Congregate every morning in trucks and forward motion has built almost no infrastructure to absorb that cost. At night, the calculus shifts. Detroit winters drop below freezing. Living in a vehicle means running the engine for warmth, and carbon monoxide in an enclosed space is a real danger here. In February 2025, Detroit was reminded of this in the most devastating way possible. 2 young children were lost in a parking garage. Their mother had reached out to the city for help months before. The system did not follow up in time. No names here, only the weight of what that means for a city that calls itself a comeback story. The backpack is the apartment. Inside, a worn change of clothes if you were lucky. A toothbrush if a volunteer had extras that morning. Sometimes a faded photograph. The things a person carries when they have lost everything else must still carry enough to remind them of who they are. Part 4. A. Locked doors. This is not a personal failure. It is a cage without a door. Barrier 1. Infrastructure. Detroit has 0.3 bathrooms per square mile. Verify. You cannot present yourself clean to an employer if the city has built no place to wash. You cannot get the job offer. You cannot sign the lease. Every missed interview is the visible cost of that absence. At night, before she found safe parking LA, the calculation was different. She would park on a quiet street and lie still, listening for sounds near the car. Twice in a single month, someone knocked once out of hostility. once asking her to leave. She moved both times without argument. The fear was not only of danger, it was of losing the car. Because without the car, there is no shelter, no storage, no morning routine, no interview she can arrive to looking like someone with her life in order. The system blocks the solution while refusing to build one. Barrier 3, the shelter ceiling. When beds are full and streets have no sanitation, health deteriorates. And health deterioration makes it harder to qualify for housing programs that require medical compliance. The loop closes on itself. The system does not simply fail. It makes recovery actively harder with each week that passes. But in this city of makers, some people decided not to wait. Pope Francis Center at 438 St. Antoine Street in Detroit has been open to anyone who needs it for decades. No ID, no paperwork, no screening Monday through Saturday, 7 until 11. The doors open and the city's most vulnerable residents walk in. 2 meals, hot showers, laundry, a mailing address, housing assistance. In June 2024, the center opened Bridge Housing Campus, 40 units of transitional housing, with wraparound medical care, substance use services, and job training. 90 to 120 days of stabilization. And then there is the WAVE project. Founded in 2018, WAVE operates a 23-foot mobile shower trailer, serving Wayne County and Detroit routes from its Macomb County base. 3 climate-controlled stalls, Arctic rated for Michigan winters. 8 staff. Budget, $275,000 a year. 300 people served every month, each one stepping out of that trailer a little more ready to face the day. A little more recognized as human. The shower as citizenship, the clean towel as a form of advocacy, from a conversation, a hygiene appointment, a shelter slot, the road home. Part 5, Hope Plus Outrow. Detroit has seen harder moments than this. Bridge Housing Campus, opened in June 2024, offers 40 units of transitional housing with hygiene access, medical care, and job training. When that structure exists, the pathway out of homelessness shortens meaningfully. There is a man who walked 1.2 miles twice a week for 6 months to be clean enough to interview. One morning, after a shower at Pope Francis Center, he got the call. The job offer came through. The lease came after that. It does not always work this way. But sometimes when the infrastructure holds, when the volunteers show up, when the city gets out of the way of the people solving its problems, it does. The numbers bear this out. Of participants who exited Safe Parking LA in 2024, 40% moved into housing or resolved their homelessness above the national average. Case managers connect participants to rental assistance, legal aid, employment support, and housing applications, rebuilding the chain homelessness breaks. In this moment, we offer a quiet prayer for every person experiencing homelessness in Detroit. May you find safety in the days ahead. May gentle hands reach out to you with kindness. May the weight you carry begin to lighten. And may a warm, stable home soon welcome you back. Thank you for staying until the very end.